So today's This or That segment has been brought to you by ThrowbackBuys.com, your one-stop shop for all things nostalgic. Whether you're looking for a Nintendo 64 for game night, the Michael Jordan Wheaties box, or even a Tamagotchi pet to keep you up at all hours of the night, Throwback Buys is the site for you. Use promo code NJPOD for 15% off your order today. So our first This or That, we're going with a spooky theme today because it is our spooky special for October.
Yes.
So I got to ask you,
Okay.
haunted house or hayride?
Ooh.
What's your fall favorite activity? Haunted house or hayride?
You hay rides are pretty cool. For fear factor, it all depends which you go. But I'm gonna say cooler for me, hayride. I think just being able to go out on a hayride into a cornfield or wherever it may be, it's a little cooler for me. I think haunted house, now that I'm older, I'm gonna start swinging at things if they pop at me.
Well, listen, they come at you too much, you're gonna pop your back out of place. So you need to start swinging, buddy.
Yeah, I'm gonna say hayride, haunted hayride.
Yeah, you know what? I agree with you. Haunted hayride. I am a big scaredy cat. I don't like spooky things.
Yep.
I don't like things that pop out.
Yeah.
The scariest movie to me is still Scooby-Doo Zombie Island. I'm a fraidy cat. I know what I am.
Yeah.
But I love the hayride mainly for the aspect that you can sit down with people, have a conversation, you can relax, you can have your apple cider, your fritters, and just enjoy like that cool autumn breeze.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're walking, you're trying to have a conversation, you got someone popping out, you're popping them in the face, and that's just what it is.
Yeah.
But we also threw all of these This or That questions today up on Instagram. And I got to say, this was the most divisive.
Really?
It was straight 50-50. 50% of people said haunted house and 50% hayride. I was impressed. So let's look at the next one.
Okay.
Psychological thriller or slasher movie?
Slasher classics are great. But I personally and my wife prefer psychological thrillers. I think trying to figure out the mystery is so much funner than just someone from the get is the bad guy. He's going to be killing everyone.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I really love psychological thrillers. I'm not a big book person, but psychological thriller books are like my go-to.
Yeah.
Like I love trying to figure out the whodunit.
Yeah.
And just that it's like that eerie feeling.
Correct.
Like Red Rose, The Haunting.
Yep.
Like those are some of my favorite movies. Like the old Alfred Hitchcock. They're so like that spooky eerie. You don't know what's going on.
Secret Window with Johnny Depp.
Yeah. But slasher movies, we'll talk more about this as the podcast progresses today. They're good, but you already know who the bad guy is.
Correct.
I feel like the only slasher movie that comes to the top of my head where you don't really know who the bad guy is Scary Movie. But Scary Movie's not even really a slasher movie.
Saw did a good job of it too, the newer, just because you didn't know who really was capturing everyone and putting them through all these torture, things. But yeah, a Scary Movie is, you're probably right.
Yeah, like, I mean, when you figured out that it was Doofy at the end,
like it's kind of like, what?
Like, I know. But you know what? Instagram agreed with us. Instagram said psychological thriller was the go-to. It wasn't a huge landslide. It was like 60-40.
Yeah.
But it was psychological thriller. And our last This or That.
Okay.
Goosebumps or scary stories to tell in the dark.
Ooh, man.
I know it's a difficult one, man.
That one's difficult.
So I'll go first. I feel like you've been saying it first. I'll give you a chance to think. For me, book-wise, it has to be scary stories to tell in the dark. I love Goosebumps, and this is not a slight to Goosebumps, but I love the short story format. I love the fact that in one book for scary stories, there's like anywhere between 12 and 20 little spooky stories.
Yep.
I love the adaptation of the movie that almost provided like some more intense horror
Correct.
to what was going on. That being said, Goosebumps, the way that they just did the Disney Plus series, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's scary stories to tell in the dark still, but it's not like, oh my God, scary stories is an A and Goosebumps is a C. It's like
they're right
A
there.
plus to A or A to A minus.
I'm gonna agree with you. Scary Stories is probably my option too. Goosebumps was great, right? The books, the movies when they had them in the 90s, they were good, but I have to agree. Scary Stories.
Well, unfortunately, Instagram did not like us.
Oh.
Instagram said Goosebumps, and this was by far the biggest landslide.
Really?
Of about 70% Goosebumps and 30% Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Well, I could see it, right?
Oh, yeah.
Goosebumps was everywhere. Scary Stories wasn't in your face as much, so.
That's what I was curious about. I was wondering, is it so much overwhelming Goosebumps because everyone knows Goosebumps?
Yeah.
And like, what, there's 100 or so Goosebumps books, but there's only 3 or 4 Scary Stories books.
Correct.
Also, how many episodes of the show Goosebumps? How many movies have there been? There's the new series. Scary Stories has a few books and 1 movie.
Yeah,
like that's it.
Yeah.
So I can understand it being a landslide, but it's still those traumatic black and white drawings for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like the things of my nightmare.
Yeah.
That one like story where it's like the boil and all the spiders that pop and crawl over her face.
Yeah.
Dude, I have dreams about that.
Me
Whenever
too.
there's like a bug like in the bedroom and crawls on my face.
Yeah.
All I can think about is that happening.
Yeah, me
and
too.
I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm good. Gives my my Freddy Cat vibes, the heebie-jeebies. But what do you say we go into our meat and potatoes for today?
This is going to be fun.